back, quarterback rolling right. He's looking end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Saturdays are sacred. A football podcast.
What is up, everybody? My name is CJ alongside Cody, and we're back again. Another week in college football. A little bit of a off week. Some players taking some PTO, some teams taking some PTO this week, getting ready for rivalry week next week. But we'll get into everything that's going on this week. Obviously, you see the title is college football getting ruined. There's obviously a lot of things, a lot of football purists that, new changes are happening to the sport, and a lot of people don't like it. So we'll get into that today. So we make sure you guys are here. Like and subscribe on YouTube on Sports Fluent. We're here every Sunday at 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was tough for me. But Saturdays are sacred. We take our PTO on Saturdays. We make sure we don't work on Saturdays because we're watching.
Absolutely.
But Cody, before we get into it, how are you doing, man? How are you doing today?
Doing well. Rough game yesterday, but yeah, still doing well. Patriots start here in about 45 minutes, so hopefully they can get my weekend better off to a better finish than it started. But yeah, still doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. Thanksgiving's coming up. Rivalry week is coming up, so it's going to be a fun week coming up. I'm nervous to play Georgia Tech, but now I don't know if I don't know how to feel because Georgia Tech just lost. So it's like one of those things where obviously coming back from a loss and then your rivalry, that's the extra motivation to get right to finish the season right. And now Georgia Tech I don't even know if this Georgia game matters, but I think it would help their case to try to sneak in to the college football playoff. But I don't even know if that's going to be enough. I think this is their second or third loss now.
Second conference loss too. So I think they fell to like fourth.
Yeah.
So right now they're not they need some help to get to the ACC championship game.
So it's definitely not looking great for them. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we'll get into it. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. There's definitely a lot to talk about. It's not a lot, but there's some things that we have to really kind of dive into. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Interact with us. Let us know your thoughts. We'll talk about it if you have any fun things you want to say, and we'll get going. You know what? Let's start with the elephant in the room. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's just talk about the meta king. Let's talk about the one who's looking at introspective, because there's been a lot of reports this week that Lane Kiffin was finalizing a deal to be the next head coach with LSU, where it was looking like he was about to get a Brinks truck backed up to his front yard. There's this kid who in his football game was wearing LSU headphones this week at his game. So there's a lot of speculation. I mean, if you are deep in the bag of seeing, the bloggers and for college football and people with what they're saying, and people are, hey, that my cousin actually, goes to LSU and he's, whatever the pipeline that you follow to get your news, that it seemed like that LSU and Lane Kiffin were going to be coming together. Then there was an announcement that the athletic director said they were going to make an announcement on his future after the game, which is kind of weird to have to put out. So, I mean, at this point, it feels like he's leaving, but there hasn't been any official announcement. Obviously, they want to try to be focusing on the Egg Bowl, but if Lane Kiffin leaves now, before the college football playoff with Ole Miss, will Lane Kiffin again be same old Lane Kiffin to you?
A little bit, because they win the Egg Bowl. Even if they lose the Egg Bowl, they might be able to sneak in, but maybe not. But yeah, they win the Egg Bowl, they're in, and you probably get a home playoff game. You're probably going to be a top 8 seed, so you get a home playoff game, and then you leave your team. Like, this is the highest that Ole Miss has ever been. 10, to reach 11-1 playoff appearance, top 7 team in the country, and you just decide to leave your team. I think recruits would kind of keep that in the back of their mind. It's like, okay, well, I mean, how loyal is this guy? So maybe that hurts him in the future a little bit. It's funny with Lane. I think he's just ultimate troll. Like his son wearing the LSU. He's the ultimate troll. Like it's ridiculous. Like I think he's enjoying the hell out of this. I think he loves being like the center of attention. And I think he's a great coach and he's actually matured, but I think he still loves being the center of attention, having everybody talk about him. But like my thing is like, if he was going to stay at Ole Miss, why wouldn't you have already just signed an extension? Like, why play this game? Why do that? So it's like, I think he's leaving and I thought it was going to be Florida more, but now it seems like it's going to be LSU is just zeroed in on him. He is like everything. They don't get him and it's like back to the drawing board. Maybe they might not get a coach till like January if that happens, but yeah. They have zeroed in on him. Like, yeah, I think you texted me the other day, like 90 mil, 25 annually. It's like, holy crap, 25 annually is ridiculous. And it's like, but Ole Miss, you lost one game where you were in the game the whole time at Georgia. That's your only loss. And that's what's keeping you out of the conference championship game. Like, other than that, it's like, okay, what else can you not do? Like, can you just guarantee at LSU you're going to be the ranked sixth in the college football playoff rankings and basically already be in the playoff? Probably not. You already got that at Ole Miss. And so, but like I said, I think if he was going to stay, he would have signed already because that's what everybody else has done. They've all gotten their extension, Signetti, Matt Rule, which that's a conversation for another day. They got steamrolled by Penn State, and Penn State wanted to hire him, but he got an extension. Like I said, that's a conversation for another day, but good for Penn State not getting him because he's a joke. But yeah, like I said, but either way, back to Lane Kiffin. I think he loves this, but I think he's leaving. But to leave when you have a home playoff game coming up and you've only lost one game, I think says a lot. And I think recruits and people and maybe even staff that he wants to get there, I'd keep that in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, well, like, what if Bama comes open again? What if he wants to go to the NFL? Like, how loyal is this guy? And so that'll hurt his reputation. But at this point, it's like both LSU and Ole Miss need an answer by Sunday. So hopefully we'll know by this time next week. But God, who knows with Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, it's like I want to give Lane Kiffin the benefit of the doubt so much, right? But then it's like he's obviously a maniac, right? He's a maniac.
Big time.
And so, because like I've seen a lot of discourse about, I like Lane Kiffin. I like his assist.
I do too.
I love when he was playing with Matt Corral, and every time he threw it was an explosive play, you just see his play sheet just throw up in the air. Like, he got it. Like, he has quirks about him that you love. You love how he recruits. You love how he develops quarterbacks. Like, he's done solidly. Like, his offenses are really good. Like, he was giving Georgia fits that game. Like, no matter what they did until the second half, they just could not do anything until the second half. So obviously there's still it's still like a missing piece there with him to really get over the hump. And I understand why you would want, like, why Lane Kiffin is the number one coaching candidate, because of the fact that because you could probably allure him away with enough money and resources for sure. But I think Ole Miss has resources. I learned this week that, like, Ole Miss has everything that he would want, and they've given him everything that he's wanted. So it's like, I think the idea of that Ole Miss maybe just doesn't have enough to compete with big schools, I think that's false. So, which means why would you want to move within the SEC and you're making good money? So obviously with LSU, the governor of Louisiana, crawfish are all getting involved. So really you could be invisible.
Crawfish.
You know what I'm saying? Unlimited crawfish. Maybe he just loves crawfish that much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know. So maybe it could be deeper than football if you're getting a governor in your pocket. So maybe that could be something that Lane Kiffin is thinking about possibly going for him. Like, I don't know. Right. But here's one of the biggest discourses that I saw on Twitter. There's multiple actually, but the first one is, if you look at his resume, what in his resume makes you think he is the guy? When you look at his resume, what has he won? And I saw someone just take a picture of his, like, sports reference page, and it's like, he's what Conference USA conference title. That's his only conference championship or any championship
Florida
that he's
Atlantic.
won as a head coach.
Right.
I mean, and then he got fired as an assistant at Georgia at Alabama in season.
Right.
So it's a lot. Just like
he got tarmacked at USC.
Money. Yeah. Like you got all this money that you're trying to throw at him, and now you're looking at like, but what has he done? I get it though. Like I get that's being super skeptic. Obviously, winning. Right. I think if he wins next week, he'll win 50 games in the last 5 years for Ole Miss, which is like, and this will be their most wins they've ever had in a single season for Ole Miss, which I think is a big accomplishment if they get this done.
Breaking his own record,
So obviously he's built a sustainable winner in terms of regular season for Ole Miss, and they're doing good work, right? Like they're doing really good work to help build and make Ole Miss like us, like people want to go there. I mean, Ole Miss has, like, don't get me wrong, Ole Miss they produce good talent, like especially receivers. You know, some good guys, linebackers. Like that's not an issue for Ole Miss, but it's like, but why are we in? And maybe it's a ploy to just, maybe it's an NIL ploy that Lane Kiffin is doing.
Maybe
generate more buzz about Ole Miss, talk about Ole Miss more, right? And I could probably be wrong, and I'm okay with that, but part of me feels like Lane Kiffin will stay, but make a big thing about it. I think he would, if they beat Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl, he's going to get on a microphone in the stadium, stand half at midfield, and say, "I'm not freaking leaving. I just signed
Jordan Belfort style." Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's because like if he does leave, the committee says that they will factor in, if your head coach is there or not, which they did that to Florida State, where they lost their starting quarterback. Even though they were undefeated, they lost their starting quarterback and think, hey, you guys are not going to be good. We want to see good football. And obviously getting obliterated by Georgia that year in I think the Orange Bowl or the Capital One, whatever it was.
I think it was the Orange Bowl. Yeah.
So, so that could really, like, that could be a twofold thing. Like that, he might not be welcome in the state of Mississippi ever again. If
you'll have to play there, though. Yeah,
exactly. And it's going to be, he might have to wait. He might have to drive in the day off and get out. Like, you know what I mean? Like
he did at Tennessee. Yeah.
Because, you know, he's really playing with, that's a lot of money to host a college football playoff game. That's an additional revenue source for this season.
Oh, huge.
So it's like, it's a lot that's at stake here. And obviously, I know that probably is weighing on his shoulders, but it's like, what more could LSU or Florida or Arkansas or whatever,
Auburn,
like, what more can these other schools really offer you if Penn State or if Ole Miss say we'll give you $13 million a year, and you know we'll give you the money and have at it? Like, I don't understand. And then it's like, obviously, I don't think NIL is an issue either. Like, to get your roster, like, I mean, unless you're trying to go to another level of NIL, and maybe that's why he's like, if he's wanting to stay, generate buzz, people are talking about it, make them the talk of the town for Ole Miss and company. But like, I don't know. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot for sure.
Yeah, I think like this situation, like 10 years ago, it's a no-brainer. You leave Ole Miss to go to LSU, but like, things aren't the same with NIL, with transfer portal. And so like they're a lot closer. I would still say LSU's the better job, but it's a lot closer. And it's like your job's you've already made that. You spent your time there. You've built this program into a team that's going to play for a playoff spot every single year. Like, they're expected to play for a playoff spot every single year. And so like, you built this, you put all this time in, you've built this program to where it's never been before. They've always just been, they're pretty good. Oxford, it's a cool place to play and stuff like that, hotty toddy crap like that. But it's like, it's never really like been a threat to anybody in the SEC to like win anything. But it's like now, year in and year out, you're in the conference championship conversation, you're in the playoff conversation. And we just saw at LSU. I think if you asked people before the season, I wouldn't have had this opinion, but I think there would have been a lot of people like, okay, who's the better coach, Brian Kelly or Lane Kiffin? There probably would have been a lot of people. I would have been on Lane Kiffin's side, but people would have been like Brian Kelly because he's accomplished more. He's gotten to playoff appearances at Notre Dame. He played for a national title.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, that's the guy you're replacing, and he couldn't make it work. And in fact, it was getting worse and worse. Now I think he's a much better fit because he knows the area. He's not as much like he's a troll, but he's not a jerk like Brian Kelly can be sometimes. So I think he's a much better fit, but there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. And especially like Bama with DeBoer is not Bama with Saban, but they're still really good.
Yeah,
Georgia's still really good.
They're good.
They're good. They're not really good. They're still good. Georgia's good. Tennessee is good. Tennessee's pretty darn good. Texas is still going to be around.
Georgia's really
good. Texas will still be around. Oklahoma, they may not be able to play offense, but that defense is ridiculous. They're ridiculous on defense, and they just need a quarterback. If they can find Mateer, maybe when he has he's fully healthy next year, maybe he'll be better, but they're good. So it's like there's no guarantee. You don't even know what your roster is going to look like. And so you don't know who your quarterback's going to be, where it's like next year, your quarterback's either going to be Simmons or Chambliss, and you can win with either one of them. So it's like, I think the decision, I would probably stay if I were him, but I think if he was going to stay, he would have stayed already.
Yeah.
I know he likes to be a troll and be in the talks, but I think he would have done it already. And then the whole thing with the committee, like, I think that would be messed up with the committee. Now you got to see what happens in the transfer portal. Like if he leaves the LSU on Sunday and then like 5, 6, 7 guys jump in the portal that next week, then I could see the committee be like, okay, your team's not good anymore. You lost your coach. You lost all these players. We're going to leave you out. But say it's just him that leaves and the team stays intact and there's like a coach there can kind of rally them. I still think you put them in the playoff. They're 11-1 and I think they led Georgia for like 2/3 of that game in Athens. And so it's like, they're still a really good team. They still had a really good record. They beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma, which is a really good win. So I think you still put them in, but yeah, you don't want to give the committee any reason to not put you in, because as we've seen with Florida State and other teams, they'll take that reason and run with it. Mm-hmm. And you just never know what these 12 suits are going to decide on a Sunday. And so, yeah. And they could look at it and be like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, Lane Kiffin wasn't just the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator and play caller. So what is this team going to look like without him? And so, but I think they should still let him in, unless what follows him after he leaves is just like a mass exodus to the transfer portal, which could definitely happen. And so, but other than that, I think the committee should still let him in. But Kiffin, if I had to make a bet, and it wouldn't be a very large bet, I'm betting he is in Baton Rouge next year and he's the head coach at LSU. It's not going to be a very large bet. It's probably like a small bet. I don't even know what the odds are. I'm sure you could probably get odds on like FanDuel and other places. I'm sure you could probably get Lane Kiffin next head coach odds where it's like LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, or NFL or whatever. So I think you can get odds, but if I were him, I would strongly, because money's not an issue. I mean, he's making $12 million in Mississippi. Like, he's a king there. Like, he can do whatever he wants, and like money's not a problem. I get it. Like, there's a difference between 13 million annually and 25 million annually. But when you're in those ballparks, it's like, okay, what can you not do with $13 million annually in Mississippi? So I don't think that's a huge factor. I think does he think he can win a national championship at Ole Miss? Not just make a playoff. Can he win a national championship at Ole Miss? Because as you've seen, worse coaches than him, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron, were able to win championships at LSU. Different time, different era, different sport kind of at those times, but still.
Yeah, he needs to. I mean, obviously, I think he can coach the hell out the offense. He just needs to have investment on the defensive side of the ball and to get a insane defensive play caller to be able to counteract, or
maybe he can get that guy from Penn State that was at Ohio State. Maybe you can get Knowles to come over, get somebody there, and just like stack up your defense.
That would be my, you know what? That would be my bargaining chip. If I can get Knowles to be my defensive coordinator, if you can get him here, I will sign on a dotted line. Like that would be my like.
Right.
Oh,
I cost them like $5-6 mil annually. Because if I'm Knowles, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of a hot commodity now. I did well at Ohio State. Our defense is still good at Penn State. We just lost our quarterback, and our offense has been like crap this year. But
because you can definitely try to flip some of those Penn State commits.
Yeah, because their coaching search, I don't know where the hell it's at right now. I don't hear anything on that coaching search.
They're lost.
Yeah.
So, okay. Speaking of that, so this is chart that I saw someone posted, and I was looking for it, and it's loading as we speak. But there's a chart of coaches that got fired and the amount of commits that decommitted since that coach got fired. Right. So,
yeah.
Here we go. Let's see. Is this loading? Okay.
Jeez.
So at Penn State, 19 commits that have left since Franklin gone. 14 for Arkansas with Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is a really good recruiter. I think he knows how to recruit. I loved him at Georgia. I hope he comes back next year. OSU 10, Virginia Tech 3, LSU 1, Auburn 1, and Florida 0. And the Florida one is so interesting. I know Florida State, the job is still, because Florida State just flipped a couple people too, and that job's not open yet. But the fact that there hasn't been more kids decommitting,
right,
and they're flipping kids from South Carolina and they're flipping kids from other schools while their coach is not, it's kind of uncertain what he's going to do. And like, we're really close to the early signing day. Like, I think that's in about like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's real close. Yeah,
we're like 2 weeks away from that. So that's really interesting to me. And obviously the schedule for college football is really bad. The schedule is not it's not good because like these kids, they need to figure out. Well, one, it's like that's why that's what's causing issue with Lane Kiffin is because that like he needs to make a decision because he can't wait to the college football playoff to start at a new school because like he's going to be behind the 8 ball if he goes to
he'll miss on recruiting.
So
I think it was Josh Pate that put it well. It's like, what if the NFL had the playoffs, the draft, free agency, and head coaching searches all at the same time? That's what college football is doing.
Yeah, and it's terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah.
So
and it's like you said, it's like he has to leave his team that he led to a home playoff win if he wants to leave. And so it's like, yeah, it might be a better opportunity, but it's like, that's what you have to do. You have to leave your team that you built. This is what, his 5th or 6th year there. You built to this level. This is the only option. You can either stay and see what happens, or you got to leave and leave them kind of high and dry. And then everybody's going to call you out for that, even though they probably would have made the same decision.
It just doesn't make sense because like there's so much parity in college football, and it's like it doesn't make sense to leave a team now, and unless the only caveat that you would leave a team, and especially this is like in the SEC. I get that all the money's not the same in the SEC, but you still got some money in the SEC. Like you've been getting money for a while in the SEC, so I don't want to hear that. Like, obviously, I think we'll talk about James Franklin in a little bit, because I want to. This is kind of about the topic. Actually, it'll probably lead to my James Franklin thing, but like these, I think the issue is I think the biggest issue for a lot of coaches would leave, especially if it's in the SEC or Big Ten school, is like the infrastructure at your school. Whether you have a pro style or like the new generation setup where you have a GM, you have a recruiting place that's recruiting, like you have like a facility, you have people, you have departments for dedicated resources to recruit players and get some stuff off of the coaches. And then to be a guide and really kind of get a pro system, like get a pro personnel department and run it like an NFL organization. Obviously, you can't have like one dedicated just to football. Like you have to have a GM for all sports, or maybe you can. Like maybe you want to invest that. But again, that's like $1 million position, most likely per if you want to do it for every department or multiple departments, or whatever. Obviously, you got your athletic director, but then you also got your GM for football. So it's like, it's interesting. Like it's infrastructure, then obviously it's the money and the resources. That's the only two things that you would not want to take a job. And so I think Arkansas has money. Like they definitely have money. Like that's not even going to be an issue. So it's like, especially if it's an SEC job, I think every SEC job has more money than most other schools. So I just don't see what's the need, unless the infrastructure is not good. You're not getting the resources. That's the only reason to leave, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, like we've talked about, the decision to leave is not as easy as it used to be, especially like you said in the SEC. I think the ESPN gives all of them like $40+ million a year. Like each school gets a lot on their TV deal. And then, of course, like just revenue and games now is just outrageous. Yeah. So especially like, that home playoff game, you're going to make a ton of money on that right there. And then if you win that game, you go to a bowl game, like you go to the next round, they're all at the bowl sites. Those bowls pay you a ton of money as well. So it's like you get to the second round, you're making, I don't know, probably another 50, 60, 70 million at least for your program, if not more. So yeah. And LSU's may not even make a bowl game, so they're not going to be doing that. They've only lost one player in the that's all high school recruiting. Like no one's jumped in the portal, you're saying, right? So I don't know who's jumped in the portal. They've only lost one player. Obviously, Nussmeier's not going to be the quarterback next year. The defense is still really good. Can you keep that defensive coordinator is pretty good, Blake Baker. If you could keep him, if you get there, that'd be pretty good. But I mean, other than that, like it's a bit of a rebuild there in LSU, and like Ole Miss, one of your two quarterbacks are ready to go.
Why would you want to rebuild? I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, why would you want to rebuild at this point?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, why do you want to rebuild? And then it's like, I don't know.
Because again, look, we're seeing how the portal is great. Obviously, you can be a better team, but we're also seeing more times than not, like you're not as good. It takes time, because especially, I guess, if you do massive overhauls for your roster, like we're seeing, it's not really working well for the guys. Like North Carolina is not working good for them. Charlotte is definitely not working. I'm only saying Charlotte because they're right close to me.
Florida
Colorado,
State.
That didn't really work great for them. Like, you see teams that get 70, 60, 50 plus new players in year one to try to, get new talent. I mean, obviously, you might get a couple more wins, obviously, if your team is just dog shit. But it's tough. Like it takes at least 2 to 3 years in order to like really get that team going and to build your identity. But then it's like, if you're gonna invest that much money in NIL, you then everything changes, because then you want to be you want to be winning now. So it's like, well, why I gotta wait 3 years? I just donated $30 million to this program, and you telling me I gotta wait 3 years to see return on my investment? Like, so expectations change when you want these resources. And so then obviously you're seeing it's not, easy to flip a whole roster. It's like, again, you're already in it. If you can get more backing from your team and then getting it, I'm not gonna disrespect Ole Miss defensive coordinator, but like if you can get you a top-notch defensive coordinator, and then whatever brings with him, like how he can recruit elite players. Don't get me wrong, like they had really good players. Like Trey almost was really good for them. He came over from Alabama. Like and Ole Miss does really well in the portal. They do. I think they built a good enough base to where they got a good talent base, but they were getting these. That's what you want. Like you want to have your base, really good base in high school recruiting, and then giving the right portal players
Right.
that can enhance and supplement your roster.
Right. Well, speaking of a guy that likes to build through the portal, and it's really only worked for 1 year, and the other years it's kind of like been awful. But a little bit of breaking news.
Okay.
Florida State is going to keep Mike Norvell for another year. He's confirmed to be there next year, which is like, why? Are you just broke? You can't be just come out and say we're broke. We can't pay the buyout. Like we can't do it. We can't pay the buyout because it's like, yeah, he's 5 and yeah. I don't understand. Go ahead. No.
They're don't get me wrong. They're recruiting well. So that's because I just said too. Is like they're flipping players. So obviously there has to be some type of commitment that he's telling commits to be like, hey, like, no, Norvell will be here. But like, yeah, like he's doing the right things to build a program. But it's like he's still living off that undefeated season, or not the undefeated.
Yeah,
season, but
it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. So it's like, how is he still in a job? And maybe they're trying to rash.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
think it's rash. It's been 2 bad years in a row.
Yeah, he was 2-10 last year, and now they're 5-6, and they play Florida next week. So they'll probably go to 6-6. I think Florida's, but it's like they could lose that game and go 5-7. You miss back-to-back bowl games, and it's like you're recruiting pretty good, but you're not developing. And then like all the high school recruiting you're doing, they're leaving because you're just jumping the portal and get a bunch of guys too. And it's like it's a new quarterback every year. It was Jordan Travis, and then it was freaking DJU. And then this year it was Castellanos, and it's like, who knows who it's going to be next year. And you're just kind of like building your program, somewhat high school, somewhat transfer portal, but zero development. And just, I don't know. This program, they feel like they're an irrelevant program, which is crazy because it's like the ACC is so wide open. Like if you just had your shit together just a little bit, you could be in the playoff almost every year. Just win that conference. It's you and Miami, basically.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I think there could be an easy shift to where the ACC is really good. Like it's such a close shift to where the ACC, because like if Florida State, Miami, like Clemson, Syracuse wants to try to do good, Georgia Tech,
Virginia Tech, yeah.
You know, these are quality teams, but they're just mid teams.
Yeah, just the whole conference is just mid. Like if they didn't get an automatic bid this year, they probably don't get a team in the field. Like maybe Miami sneaks in there because of the Notre Dame win. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. That surprises me, but I think if they would have fired him, they already would have. But yeah, they just must not have the money there. Like, which is crazy. I'm sure they got it. I mean, they put guys in the NFL, and there's decent guys that have played in the NFL from Florida State too. I don't know how big their alumni is outside of like football, but yeah. But
so I want to, since we're talking ACC money, right? So let's talk about, I found a tweet. So here's the James Franklin contract breakdown. All right. So James Franklin and Virginia Tech deal, he's getting $41.75 million. Let's just call it 42 and just be done with it.
Right.
In 2026, he's making 5.5. So obviously he's still getting supplemented from Penn State.
Yeah.
I think he's only going to pay him $9 million part of his buyout or whatever.
Yeah.
2027, he's making 4.5 million. This is crazy. So 4.5, 5.5, 4.5, 3.5, and then in 2029, he's making 12.25 and 12.75. And then his budget up to 9.5 million for 10 assistant coaches, up to 6 million for support staff, and up to 3 million for recruiting.
That's it for NIL, or is just for recruiting staff is 3 million is what you're saying, or is that for NIL?
It just says for recruiting. So I'm guessing maybe not even for whatever revenue share. So you probably still get whatever percentage that is. But that's really interesting. So in the next 3 years, he will be only making about 13 million, 13.5 million for the next 3 years. And then obviously he's going to get the 9 million. So he's going to be like, close to 20 million for the next 3 years of money he's going to make. But at the same time, in my eyes, if you're going to be cheap in Virginia Tech, if you're not winning after 2028, I got to out. That's what it says to me. I have an out after 2028. I'm only paying him $3.5 million. And then before his real money hit with $12 million.
Right. Well, it's like, is it in the contract where he's owed those last 2 years? So is that like the stranglehold he has on them at the end? It's like, okay, well, we've had 3 okay seasons. Well, this is my 4th season. You're only paying me 3.5, but I still got 24 after that for the next 2 seasons after. So it's like, are they on the hook for all 3 and 24? So 27 after that 3rd year? Not sure. So maybe that's why he backloaded it. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the comments. It says that because the guy put some more stuff in the comments. He said the 5-year contract is fully guaranteed if he's fired without cause, but pay from future employment during the term will offset whatever Virginia Tech owes him.
So cause is like if there's like some like scandal or some crap like that. Like cause can't just be like you're not winning.
Yeah.
Like you still, yeah.
So I mean that could be cause. They might be like cause could be you're not winning. That's the cause you fired.
Right.
But I mean, you get 3 million, you get 3 years. So 26, 27, 28, you get 3 years for him for 12 million, which is what you will pay for him in 2029. Right. So obviously it's probably gonna it's probably gonna be a good amount of opportunity for him to get a contract extension if they have a 10-win, like 2 10-win seasons or 2 really good seasons before it. And I think he'll definitely be motivated to try to get that done, to get that contract, upped before then. But I don't know, will Virginia Tech be one of like say they go back-to-back seasons winning 10 wins, ACC championship, one of them or whatever, something he hasn't done. And obviously then there's going to be teams knocking, right? There'll be teams knocking because like, oh, you're only giving me $3 million in recruiting. Well, hey, buddy, I got $25 million.
Right.
And I got
Exactly.
I got the governor backing me as well. They're going to find a way. We're going to tax everybody in Louisiana 1% so we can make up for that for the talent that we trying to bring down here. Right. And we got some crawfish. You like crawfish? We can get you something, right? So that's really interesting. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the whole asking Frank Beamer for his blessing to take over his program. Like, you're not taking over just from him. Like, there's been 2 coaches since he's been gone. So it's like, that's just sound corny to me. But anyways, I get he's trying to, whatever he's trying to do.
He's trying to win over. Yeah, I think he's just trying to win over the fan base a little bit. He seems like that guy. He's a little corny. He's a little bit over the top. He's still a really good recruiter. Like I like this hire. I thought it was really interesting. He just decided to give like his buyout at Penn State was 49. And he's like, you guys can have that 40.
I would not give that.
You can have that 40 back. I'll take the 9. And it's like, okay. But it's like money's not an issue. He was probably making 11 to 12 at Penn State annually, give or take. So money's not really an issue. But just to look at like we were talking about with Norvell and some of these other ACC, like ACC's wide open. If you can get this on the track in a couple of years, you could be playing for an ACC or be in the ACC title conversation like pretty much every year. And like the big knock on him always was he can't win the big games. Well, what's the big game in the ACC? There's no Ohio State. There's no Michigan with Harbaugh. There's no Oregon. Like who's the big, like Miami? Okay, well, I mean, you probably can outcoach Mario Cristobal. You may not be able to out recruit him, but like on game day, you could probably outcoach him. So, and that's probably your biggest game. I still think Georgia Tech's on the come up with Brent Key, but he could leave. I could see him leaving for a job too. So there's no top dog, and Florida State's broke. Apparently, they're just going to keep Norvell until he goes 0-12 or something like that. But it's just like I think it's wide open. So I like the hire. The contract situation is interesting. You kind of give Virginia Tech a little bit of wiggle room there, and it's like it kind of just shows you this guy just likes to coach ball. He doesn't really care about the money. He just likes to coach, which is cool. That's cool, and I think recruits will respect that, and I think the program will respect that. But it is kind of an uphill battle. Virginia Tech, they haven't been good since Frank Beamer. Basically, they've had a couple of one-off years, but I mean, when did Frank Beamer leave there? It's been over a decade at this point, right?
While. Yeah, it's been a good.
Yeah, it's like, And they haven't been good since then. They had that run with him where it was like 12 years. They were always like 10, 11, 9-win team every year. And then
they were iconic. Like Virginia Tech was iconic. I mean, when you thought back then, it's like you think about like Michael Vick coming through there and like the different players. Like it had that mystique. Like it was Virginia Tech and it was Florida State. Like those two teams, like you go there, the atmosphere was insane. Enter Sandman, like everything is like rocking. Same with Florida State, the chant you get, like, you know what I mean, like your composure bar is so high, like, you know, so low, like you're struggling. And now it's just, I mean, yeah, the Enter Sandman entrance is still cool, but it's like we just know we'll wait 5 minutes and we're just gonna blow these guys out the park. Like there's nothing to fear once the music's done, you know. So it's interesting for sure, to say the least. But I'm interested to see like what he can do. And it's like I also like, only $3 million in recruiting. I was like, well, you could have paid me $12 million this year, so can I use that other $7 million? Can I get that $7 million to for roster rebuild? So obviously, there's probably more details that come out about his contract this year.
Yeah,
but
because if it's $3 million in NIL, that's not good.
That's nothing.
Like even the ACC has teams in the ACC have more than that, and I'm guessing at Penn State he was probably getting close to 15 or more for NIL. So yeah, that I'm guessing that's for a recruiting staff, but if that's just for NIL, that's going to be tough. Like it's going to have to be a lot of you're going to have to do a lot of good sell jobs to get people there.
For sure.
And he's probably going to have to hit the portal hard this year. So I think they'll be improved next year. I mean, they played Miami pretty well yesterday. It wasn't they didn't get blown out. So I think there's definitely potential there. I don't know. We'll see, but I think that's probably the best they could have done on the market for a head coach for Virginia Tech. I think that's probably the best you could have done. And you're the first domino to fall. And now you can watch and look around as all these other teams scramble. But now you can kind of salvage whatever recruiting class you had and see what you can get in there for 2026.
Yeah. So are you familiar with the number one quarterback? I think it's the 26th class of Jarrett Curtis.
Yeah, I heard he's flipping the Vandy.
It's not official.
Yeah, I know.
It's not official, but it could be. I mean, again, this is also another interesting topic that's kind of happening in college football, where kids are obviously flipping from a team that's about development to a team that, like, hey, I could start right away. Right.
Yeah.
And so I get it. Like the idea of being able to play right away, especially at Vanderbilt, they had a decommit from their 3-star quarterback that decommitted this week. So obviously there's a lot of smoke going with that at the moment. So I think it would be a huge get for Vanderbilt. He's obviously a kid that's right down the road as well. So like he'd be a hometown kid. People will love him. Will Leah still be there? Because I mean, obviously Leah could, get an opportunity.
He's getting some.
Arkansas or whoever. Auburn. So that could be interesting. Obviously, Georgia also got a number 1 commit quarterback this past week or 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, from the number 1 quarterback in the 2028 class. So, and this is happening with Georgia. It's like we're getting number 1 quarterbacks commit early, but then they're like, whoa, you guys got a lot of good quarterbacks there. Right. I think I'm just going to go somewhere else, like Dylan Raiola, so I can play right away. But like you're seeing, it's like they're not.
And maybe they get him back.
Yeah, and he might be gone too. So it's like, I think kids are devaluing development, and because I used to knock Kirby about this. I'm like, no, he needs to play this year. Like he's good, but obviously they see the players every week, and they're like Gunner. Because like I think Ryan Palsy is going to be really good for us too. I really like him, but it's like, will Gunner stay another year, and will that make Palsy want to leave in the portal because just to play, right? But there seems to be a track for these quarterbacks. Like, hey, like you're going to probably sit for 2 years, at
Right.
least, and then when it's your time, like you'll be more than ready. And so like I
Right.
do like that because with Gunner, I mean, he sat for a while and he sat for at least 2 years, like his freshman year, his redshirt freshman year.
Right.
And, but he came up pivotal when he was called upon, and now
Right.
he's getting better every week. I mean, he's been making great plays when we need him to do, and he's growing. And so I love that. And then I think he'll be a guy. I don't know if he'll be I don't know if he wants to go to the NFL. Like we'll see if the NFL comes knocking on. I think he's a really good prospect. Mobile with his legs, pretty good decision maker. So yeah, like I like how we've been developing quarterbacks lately.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe not in terms for like the NFL per se, but like for the college game. And I think we're getting the most out of our quarterbacks, and we're getting guys who've seen enough ball. They know the offense. Like they've been in the offense. So when it's your time to be called upon, like you're ready to go. But kids are like, I want to play right now. Like I don't knock you for wanting to play football. Like you love football. You want to play football. Like that makes sense to me. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, how can I get the most juice out of this lemon and be able to really, maybe get the NFL squeeze? Like maybe if I play and but it's like you might play early, put a lot of bad tape for 2 years out, and then maybe you figure out your third year. Is that enough good tape to be like, oh yeah, for sure? Or I take my L's in practice. I practice with these guys every day, but it doesn't look, great. But then when I finally do get my time, get that 1 year tape, and it's really good tape, is that enough as well to be in NFL? Because we've seen that where you don't play a lot of games. So it's like, what is the median?
Right. Well, it's like I think you kind of mentioned a guy that's kind of showed that because like you said, Jared Curtis looks like he could flip to Vanderbilt because Diego Pavia is in like his 6th year. So like he's gone. So like you're probably going to start from day one, but that was the same situation with Dylan Raiola. And it's like he's put on some decent tape at Nebraska, but like last year it was super inconsistent. This year was inconsistent, and you're playing behind a bad offensive line. So what happens? You're injured. So now not only do you have just okay tape, but now you have injuries on your tape as well. And it's like, okay, well, what's next year look like? You're still probably middle of the Big Ten at best at Nebraska. Are you going to stay there and just ride it out and see what happens? Because that's where your dad went. Are you going to transfer? So, or he could have just stayed, or he could have just committed to Georgia, sat behind Carson Beck for a year, and then maybe it's a battle between him and Gunnar Stockton this year to see who's the starter. And then Gunnar Stockton starts for a year, and then boom, you get the job the next year. And now you're playing with all these 5-star receivers. You're playing behind a better offensive line. Yeah, you don't have 2 years of that, but you developed in practice, and now you're going to look good in your 3rd year. You still have the name recognition because you were a 5-star recruit. Your dad played in the NFL for a long time. So people are still going to know who you are, and you're at Georgia. But now it's like next year you go and like, what's Dylan Raiola? Like what's like, it'll be his 3rd year. That'll be the year he wants to put tape out for the NFL. Is he really on the scouts' radar right now? Like as a top 1st or 2nd round pick? I don't know. And like you're coming off an injury. You already kind of heard my thoughts on Matt Rule in Nebraska, but I think you're still just at best, you're a middle of the pack. You're a middle of the pack Big Ten team. You got smacked at Penn State, and you're like, oh, well, you have our backup quarterback. So does Penn State. So it's not an excuse. Penn State has their backup quarterback and not their head coach. And so you still, I don't know. Like you said, these kids like to chase the money. They like to chase kind of the early opportunities, which I get. If I was 17 years old and I could start right away, be on TV, put out this tape right away, get a huge bag, I probably would be in the same boat as them. But it's also just like Kirby Smart said last week, like we're not here for NIL to pay you. We're here to develop you. We're here for you to be physical. And their track record shows. I mean, just turn on games on Sunday and you'll hear these guys like, oh yeah, where that guy play? Oh yeah, he played at Georgia. I mean, just watch an Eagles game and it feels like they might as well just have their roster.
Freaking Dean.
Yeah.
I love.
I mean, geez, their defense.
The 3rd round pick. I get he's undersized. You look at it, but he is an absolute. I hate talking positive about the Eagles.
I know. But with the fact that he dropped, I had him as like a mid 1st round pick in my mock draft when he came out, and I was just like, and the Patriots passed on him like 3 times. I was like, geez, just pick this guy. Like, it's just like picking Alabama players. It's like they're gonna be fine. They're especially on the defensive side, they're gonna play well. And then you just watch their game, whether it's Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. I think they have Keely Ringo is there as well. It's like, there might as well just be the Philly Bulldogs. Keely Ringo's a little overrated, but they still play. But like I said, they're still just their players litter the NFL. It's like, who's the last big name player that's come from Nebraska? Yeah. We might be here for a minute before we can kind of guess someone. So it's like, I get you want to start right away. I get you want to get a bag, but it's like the ultimate goal for you to get a real bag is to get to the NFL.
Right.
And there's certain programs, Georgia, Ohio State, Bama under Saban, like that put guys, Oregon now with Lanning, that put guys in the NFL consistently. And they may not give you a giant bag right off this, and you may have to wait a year or two to start, but at least you have a chance to make the NFL. Like, even I'll give Arch Manning credit. He sat 2 years behind Quinn Ewers. He could have got like crazy bags from so many places. Yeah. Now he didn't really develop until like the later in this year, like early in the year, it was kind of rough, but now he's getting better. But still, he's probably going to come back for another year and put better tape out there and have a good chance to go high in the draft. Where it's like he could have bounced around and played for 3 teams in 4 years. And now all of a sudden it's like, did he really develop? Or is it just like, okay, like maybe he's just okay.
Yeah, because you can't really build on nothing when you're consistently going to a new team. Because it's like they have to, like, a lot of coaches have this ego to where they want to just remove everything that you've learned. And it's like, okay, now we're starting over. So if you consistently keep doing that when you go to a new program, so that coach can teach you the fundamentals that they want to teach you, then it's like you're still trying to build your foundation when you're thinking you should be ready to, to build on stuff going forward. So like, what are we doing here?
Right.
So yeah, that's been a big thing. Obviously there's talk about Dustin Raiola, Dylan Raiola's brother.
Oh, the little brother. Yeah, it's something with the D as well. I think he decommitted from Nebraska, and then that people are thinking, okay, well, does that mean Dylan will decommit from Nebraska? I don't know. Like I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with Nebraska, but yeah, I think I would probably look elsewhere. But
yeah, because I mean, you're not. Yeah. I mean, Matt Rule, like, again, like, everyone's like hyping up what he did in the past, but now it's a whole new. He did what he did in the past in a different landscape of college football, right? Where you could, say year 2 Matt Rule. Everyone's like, oh, year 2 Matt Rule. Hey,
right.
Won 11 games multiple times, but he hasn't done it in this landscape yet. And he's out here complaining about how much it takes to get a good quarterback out the quarter. 1.5. It says, and he's trying to be transparent, but he's just, a goofball, to be honest with you, and he's not coaching good. Like, he's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, and he did that in the Big 12 with Baylor. Now it's like you're in the Big 10, so it's definitely tougher. Yeah, but like, I even think a little bit with Bryce Underwood. Like, he decided to go to Michigan because he knew he'd start right away because their quarterback situation was bad.
12 million reasons why. I get it.
And 12 million reasons why to go there. But, like, they're winning games, but, like, he hasn't been great. I think he's got, like, maybe 10 touchdowns on the season. I think now I've said this like 3 of the last 4 years. I think Ohio State will handle them, but I keep on being wrong with that. I think this year will be different. But like I said, I've said that before. And they're 0-4 against Michigan in the last 4 years. But I think Ohio State will handle them this year. But who knows? I like I said, I think if you can get to these young kids and just kind of show them, like, hey, there's other ways to look at this instead of just a bag and just an early start opportunity. It's like maybe you could sit and develop behind, like a lot of players did that got to the NFL, and learn. I think that's the mentality they're going to have. But now that we're seeing kids like Bryce Underwood getting $12 million, hasn't even taken a college snap, it's going to be hard to kind of get kids to buy into that mentality.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm trying to think of anything else that happened this week that I wanted to.
So I still got my rant if you want me to get to it, or we can get to that later.
A little bit. Okay. Let's talk. I want to get all the coaching stuff out before we get to the actual ball. So what do you think about Dabo Swinney going to Arkansas if he were to take that job? I don't know if it's true that he's actually talked to Arkansas. Obviously, probably his agent probably did. But knowing him, he probably doesn't have an agent. He probably has a pastor who probably talks for him.
Right. Yeah.
But if Dabo Swinney left Clemson to go to Arkansas, do you think – okay, let's start with this. Do you think Dabo Swinney should leave Clemson? Let's start there.
I think they should just kind of mutually agree to move on, because I think it's just gotten stale there. Like, his message has gotten stale there. Like, they're not all about like the whole like rah or like all like everything that I think Dabo's a great coach. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But I think like his message has gotten stale there, and it's just like that program is going in the wrong direction, and it's like they still have an opportunity to win big in the ACC. And I know they won the conference last year, but like it wasn't exactly impressive. But I think they should mutually part. I just think that it's time. My only question would be for Dabo, if you're gonna go to Arkansas, like, are you gonna just bring your show that you have that you're doing at Clemson and just do it in Arkansas? Because if that's the case, then like, okay, it's not gonna work. Because now you're in the SEC. Now you're playing, Bama, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Like, you're playing Texas, Oklahoma. You're playing at least 3 to 4 of those teams annually. And so it's like you've kind of gotten away. Like, you had some great teams at Clemson. I'm not going to knock you there. But even after those great teams, like after Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence left, you still had good seasons because you kind of just fed off the bottom and the middle of the ACC. Like the middle of the SEC and maybe even some teams at the bottom would probably be towards the top of the ACC. And so it's like you're not in this. It's not the same league. So you're going to have to get there and adapt. Like, you can't just be like, oh, we're just going to build through high school. We're going to ignore the transfer portal. It's all about this. It's all about that. Like, we do things differently here at Clemson. We do things differently in Arkansas. Like, no, like you're going to have to get close to 2025 college football. So I think Clemson should move on from him. Just kind of find out what a mutual split would be. But if I was Arkansas, I'd think about it for a minute. Like, you're going to win the press conference. You're going to win the headlines. Oh, 2-time national champ coach going to Arkansas. But what are you getting? What are you getting when he shows up?
Yeah. Like, is he still that same guy? Like, does he still have that fire? Because obviously he's not, they're not winning games, and he's like losing his mind. So he's losing on the field and losing his mind. So it's like, is this really the guy that you want? If I'm Arkansas, I'm going after John Summerall. I feel like he'd be a perfect fit for this program. Like, someone who will have an identity. Because, like, what is Arkansas's identity, right? Like, in the past, they've been really good at running the football. I mean, you've had some really stud running backs that came out. I don't say stud, but you had some really good running backs that came out of Arkansas that, really kind of give you guys like, oh, bruiser, good running backs. It was like Felix. Is it Felix Jones?
Felix Jones, Darren
McFadden, Peyton Hillis.
That was all on the same. That team was ridiculous. They were all on the same team.
It's like, build back a hard-nosed football mentality with passion. Like, John Summerall coaches with passion. Bring that from Arkansas, because I think they have they have a decent quarterback. Like, I think they have
I like Taylor Green. Yeah. Like,
so he can retain some of these people.
Yeah. I mean, they dropped 37 on Texas yesterday. They just gave up 52. So it's like their defense is awful. And Petrino, we know, is just like, Petrino's not getting that job. And I think that's good for all parties involved except for Petrino. Because I thought that would have just been ridiculous if he got the job there, especially after what happened last time he was there. But yeah, they don't have any defense. Like, the cupboard's pretty bare there on defense. But yeah, like you said, the offense is like Taylor Green. Taylor Green's a solid quarterback. They have some good receivers. They have some good running backs. Like, you could get the offense going pretty quickly. You just got to get some decent studs on defense. But yeah, I think Summerall or someone like that who is a little bit more like modern day college football and is winning would be a better setup, where it's like Dabo, like I said, you'd probably you'd win the headlines. You'd be talked about all over like ESPN and Fox Sports and shit. But it's like, would you get any actual like wins out of it? Right. And so, and that's, I think the game's passed Dabo by, and he's just not willing to move on from what he is. And so, like, I just think and especially in the SEC, Like you can get away with that in the ACC a little bit because you still recruit in the top 15 in high school. So you still just you got better talent than everybody basically outside of Miami. You get in the SEC and at Arkansas, there's going to be like 10 schools that are not recruit you for the first couple of years. Like, what are you going to do when you don't have the talent advantage?
I also forgot that John Summerall was an assistant coach at Ole Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knows.
Saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Maybe if Lane leaves, he gets the job at Ole Miss. Yeah.
That would be electric. I think that would be that would be a home run hire because someone who comes back who wants to be a part of that program. It would definitely be a 180 in terms of identity.
Right.
But I would be interested to see how that offense does. Like if he's able to pry one of those quarterbacks to stay, you know, that would be really interesting to see. Okay. I think that's all the coaches I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I got one more.
Okay.
There's like this small rumor out there. And I don't even know if it's true or not. That like say if things go south, they lose to Auburn or they're one and done in the playoff, that DeBoer to Penn State could have some steam. I think two things. I don't think you leave Alabama for Penn State. Like I think that's a step down. I don't think you leave there for Penn State. I think he's a better fit at Penn State. I think he's a better fit for Big Ten football versus SEC football and just that region. But man, would that look? I think that would just look. Penn State would have to pay his buyout, so that probably wouldn't be cheap. But they just got $40 million back from James Franklin, so they do have some money. But I think that would be a good hire for Penn State. I think for DeBoer that would look really kind of small. Like it would look like you're running like you knew what this job was. You knew you were replacing probably the GOAT, and you knew what it was going to be. And you're going to try to run after 2 years, I think it would look really bad for him.
I'm trying to see where his pipeline is, like in terms of like where he's coached at and see if he has, because like, okay, yeah. So he
coached at Indiana. I think he was the offensive coordinator there for a couple of years.
So he's a head coach at Washington and then Fresno State before that. And then Alabama now. So a lot of West Coast ties. There,
which is now kind of Big Ten,
right? I mean, I do think Penn State and DeBoer makes too much sense, to be honest. Obviously, if they had this job opening a couple of years ago, I think he would have been a slam dunk hire, especially the way he likes to play football. And you know, Penn State, I think whatever they decide to do, they need to have a coach who's going to be able to develop quarterbacks. Like, they have to have that because it's been too long at Penn State to where you've had a guy to play quarterback for you guys. It's been way too, and so that's a big issue. So like cool, you could bring all these guys in, but it's like at the most important position, you don't have anybody. I mean, don't get me wrong. Drew Aller was a big supposed to have this potential, but you're not getting anything out of him.
Yeah, never reached it. Yeah.
So I think that I like that for him.
Right. Yeah, for Penn State side, I think it makes a ton of sense. I just think for DeBoer, and maybe he doesn't care. He's like, screw it, I'll go win at Penn State. You guys can say whatever you want. I'll just kind of keep my head down and coach.
Especially if he loses to Auburn next week.
Yeah, if they lose to Auburn, I think Alabama would be like, go ahead and go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they would be 3-loss team and you lose to Auburn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Apparently his buyout's $70 million.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is Penn State going to have to pay that all? But yeah, I think if they lose to Auburn, I think Alabama would probably be like, take him. We'll bring that down a little bit. Give us 30 or 35 and we'll call it a day. But I think they beat Auburn, so I think it's a moot point there. But
I don't know. Deuce Knight was looking kind of good.
And weird things happen in that game, especially when the game's in Auburn. Like weird things happen in that game. Like I always watch whenever I see like a video come up of like the kick six. I always watch it because it's just crazy. But so like crazy things like that happen.
It's funny you say that. I was playing in the national championship in my not road to glory, but in my dynasty. I'm at Oregon head coach, And I played Auburn twice in the national championship and lost on 4th down on the last play. The first time I played Auburn, disgusting, so mad. This time, I was trying to get points before halftime, so I was trying to, and I got in the field goal range. It was 2 seconds left. I probably should have just ran a play and just tried to throw it deep. But I was like, okay, it's 52-yard field goal. We could be able to make this.
Right.
Short on the kick, and this mother freaker took it to the house. And all I thought in my head is, Auburn's going to win a football game.
Yep.
That's all I was thinking. I was so mad. I was like, there's no way he missed this kick short.
Right.
But yeah, that's what happened.
That's funny. I'll still remember where I was when that game happened too.
Iconic.
It was nutty. Iconic but then they had that game. Then they beat Georgia earlier in the season where the guy like bounced like 3 times in the air and then it just like lands in the guy's hands and he runs it for a touchdown. So that like weird things happen in that game. And it's like Auburn's got zero to pressure on them. So they could just throw out everything. Just kind of just unload everything. It's like, hey, this is probably our last game of the season. Like, we're not going to a bowl game. We don't have our head coach, but maybe it salvages our season a little bit if we beat Bama and keep them out of the playoffs. Like,
for sure.
that could be somewhat a success. So yeah, they're going to get everything thrown at them. And Bama still has Bama can't run the ball where they can't run it at all. So it's just like Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams is dropping balls.
That's the issue. They almost forget that they have. I was like, oh yeah, we can run the football.
Yeah. And then, and then when they go to it, it's like it's too late. You're like down or you're like in a shootout with someone where you can't really run it. So, yeah, that would be crazy if they lost. But I think if they lost to Auburn, I think they'd probably be like, maybe Bama's AD calls up Penn State, like, hey, let's negotiate. Like, you give us a little bit and then you guys can have him. But yeah, it was just a small rumor. I don't think it happens, but it was just a small rumor I saw. And, but it would be interesting. I think he would do well at Penn State. I think that's a better fit versus Alabama, but I don't think it happens.
Would you blame him if he left for Texas? Because who said it? It was Denzel. Not Denzel. What's his dude name? Howard. He's on College Game Day.
Oh, Desmond Howard.
Yeah, because he did the walk and talk, and he said, "Don't be surprised if that Texas job comes open." And we were talking about it last week before that video came out about like we could see Sark leaving, whether it's for the NFL or just because maybe they don't want him there anymore. And it's funny because he's like, hey, that clip that came out, people were bringing back up, say, hey, this is still year 1. I mean, if we were in year 4 and we losing 3 or 4 games, then I would be at a cause for concern. It's like, well, how relevant is this now?
Right, it's year 4, or I think it's year 5, buddy. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but again, I think everything they're doing right now probably is going to be centered around Arch Manning and whether or not they want to keep him, and then if so, then what would Arch Manning want? Right. And that I think is important. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, out of the box hires. I mean, we could see Cliff Kingsbury come back to college football.
Yeah,
right?
we
John
could.
Gruden.
Yeah. John Gruden, Arkansas, has some steam supposedly too, so that would be interesting.
Right, I think there's going to be some. Obviously, there's guys who are already in college football that that have like that momentum. I just don't think Eli Drinkwitz gets a job. To be honest with you, I don't.
Yeah, I've heard Penn State, but I don't know. I watched them yesterday, and I think he's a good coach, but I think he's kind of where he's at is kind of like the ceiling for his like level. I don't think he's better than the Missouri job. Like,
no.
Yeah. Like I think he's better than Matt Rule, but like if you hire Drinkwitz at Penn State, is that an upgrade from James Franklin? I don't think so.
No. But the thing is too, is like, do you want to, and the thing is too, is like, do you want to go with someone who's already been a head coach, or do you want to go give a guy opportunities to build something? Like, do you have that infrastructure to be able to do that? And that's such and like all these teams don't. So that's why it's like, you have to, when these mid-major teams open up, get that opportunity. But I mean, there's a lot of like, I think the interim coach for Penn State is, I saw a fan tweet when I was looking up stuff. Yeah. They really wanted Terry Smith?
Terry Smith. They really want him. Yeah.
They really want him to be the head coach.
Players do.
Yeah. So, which I mean, that never happens because if Auburn did what the players wanted, Cadillac would have been the head coach instead of Hugh Freeze. Which I mean, that is something. I mean, that's what happened with Marcus Freeman. Like Marcus Freeman, like really won over.
You got the players, and it's working.
Yeah, it is working, and they won the national championship last year. So it's like, I think there is something to listening to the team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And give that guy an opportunity. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they might go a different approach, and allow him to be. I mean, Ryan Day. I mean, it's been working out pretty good for him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. The guy in waiting kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
more in Michigan. It's sort of working in Michigan, but
that's still to be determined.
The jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. Next year will definitely be a big year for him. I mean, that man was going. He was getting unpaid. He was unpaid for like months. That was like last season. He was like unpaid that whole season. They even signed him a deal. I was like, how are you working? Why are you working here and not getting paid, brother? I would have been gone.
Right.
So that's a dangerous game he was playing.
Big time. Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about yesterday. So Oregon beats USC. I think it was 42-28.
27. USC went for 2. Yeah, it's 27. Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon looked pretty solid. Good running game. Linebacker scores a touchdown. Some Dante Moore threw some good passes yesterday. I think Oregon looked explosive for sure. I thought USC had some good moments.
Oh, yeah.
They made some decent stops, but not enough consecutively, right? No. To really change the momentum.
Right.
But I'm going to give you the floor about this game. I gave you everything I got.
All right. So like going into the game, Oregon was a 9.5-point favorite. You're in their place. Like, I wasn't expecting a win. There was opportunities they could have won, but like for me, what bothers me, it's like the same old story. It's almost like a carbon copy of the Notre Dame game earlier in the year, where it's like, okay, like they out physical you. Like it's just always the same story with Lincoln Riley. It's like, okay, your defense isn't good enough. Like they ran all over you and they pushed you around on offense against your defense, and then on offense you had 0 running. I think they ran for like 2 yards a carry. So it's like you had no running game. So it's like, okay, your quarterback and your wide receivers have to be like Superman. They have to, like, every time they get the ball, they have to score. And it's like, it's just not sustainable when you're on the road against a good team. And then what showed up yesterday, which shows up every now and then when Lincoln Riley too, is like, he just doesn't care about special teams. Like he just hired a special teams coordinator, I think like 2 years ago. Before that, it was just like, okay, we'll just do it by committee. Like we'll just kind of all work it on our own and do it by committee. What? Yeah, it's brutal. But yesterday, just in the first half alone, they go down the score and get the lead. They're up 7-0. Their kicker kicks it out of bounds. So boom, now you set them up with good field position. They score. The next time around, you punt. Their guy calls for a fair catch. USC guys hits him. 15-yard penalty, puts him at midfield. They score. Then they run a punt back because their punter line drives in and there's like no coverage. So the guy takes it back to the house. And then there was a field goal opportunity for Oregon. They missed. They doink it off the upright, but your guy jumps over the center and pushes off of him to try to block the field goal. There's a 15-yard penalty. They get a touchdown. And then you have a chance to go down by 10 to go into halftime instead of 13, and you miss a 27-yard field goal. So it's just like special teams was just an absolute joke. And it's like I get people are like, well, special teams are really mad. It's like, yeah, it does. It plays a big part in some of those, like, that's like 14, 21 points right there that you pretty much handed them with bad special teams play. And then, yeah, it's just, like I said, it just seems to be the same story every time USC plays a big team in a big spot. Like their offense is going to score. They're going to put up 25-30 in those games just because he's a good offensive coordinator. They have good offensive pieces. They have 2 guys at wide receiver that'll play in the NFL, and Mayava will probably be like a backup in the NFL for a little bit. But that's always going to be the case. But your defense can't slow them down, even though they're missing their top 3 wide receivers. And you just can't get enough stops. And you give up 42 points. And you can't expect your team to score 42 on the road against a good Oregon team. So it just seems to be the same. Like there's definitely improvement from this team. They should beat UCLA next week and go to 9-3. And that's a solid season, especially I think their over-under win total was 7 going into the season. So it's still a solid season, but it just feels like you've kind of like hit your ceiling. Like, is this who you're gonna be? Like, are you just gonna be a good team, but you can't beat Notre Dame consistently, and you can't beat Oregon, and you didn't play Ohio State this year, so you had to play them next year, so you probably won't be able to beat them. So you're just gonna be like an above average team that just doesn't really do anything. They have the number 1 recruiting class in high school right now. We'll see if they can actually sign that in like 3 weeks on signing day. See if they can actually close, because a lot of people will decommit and move around at the end. But they'll probably finish with at least a top 5 class. So at least you're building to something. But if the culture's not there, it just seems like a soft culture. Like, it just seems like a culture that doesn't care about defense, doesn't care about being physical. Yeah, you can beat Iowa, but Iowa doesn't play offense. Yeah, you could beat Michigan at home, but Michigan has a freshman quarterback. So it's like, what are your big wins? What are your statement wins? You had 2 opportunities against Notre Dame and Oregon. Those are winnable games, both of them. Like, there was opportunities for you to win those games, and you just didn't. And it just seems to be the case. This year 4 for Lincoln Riley. It's not like it's year 1. So I don't know. I don't see the enough progress for him in year 4 versus you look at the guy on the other side. It's also year 4 for Dan Lanning. And they were the number 1 team all last year going into the playoff. And now they're going back to the playoff. It just seems like they're so much further ahead of you.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Would you bring back Pete Carroll for a 3-year run with a successor in place to build back USC? Would you, if someone offered you this option, would you take that option, or would you run another guaranteed 3 years with Lincoln Riley?
Guaranteed 3. Like, this was like 5, 8, 10 years ago would be a no-brainer. I'd be like, sold. But Pete Carroll's, what, 75 now, 74? Like, he's getting up there. And it's not looking great. I know the Raiders' job is not an easy job, but it looks bad there. It looks really bad. So I don't know. And he hasn't coached college football since 2010 or since 2009. So we're talking like 16 years. And that was a totally different sport back then.
Totally.
So it's like, and I would have to know who his successor is. Like, who's your actual successor? Like, do you have someone halfway decent in there, or it's just a guy on your staff that you talk about that's really good? Because I don't see anybody on that staff right now for the Raiders that I would be like, oh yeah, that guy would be a decent college coach. I don't really know anybody on his staff, but that's kind of an issue in itself there. I think I'd probably take Riley, because at least you know your offense is going to be good. Like I said, they're starting to recruit better. They have the number 1 class. Maybe there's hope that things can change. Maybe you get that guy at quarterback, because like, I think if Caleb Williams was the quarterback yesterday, maybe they're a little bit closer just because he can make a little bit more plays versus Jada Mayava. But Jada Mayava was definitely not the problem. But yeah, like 5, 6 years ago, I would have said Pete Carroll, no problem. But he's gotten older, and he's been away from college football for so long. I just don't know if he can just step in and that magic is back.
Yeah, it's so obviously the parity has definitely destroyed the blue bloods for sure, and like, we're not seeing, true royalty in college football no more. And I think people always kept saying they wanted that, but like, now that we have it, it's not great. Like, it's not great. It's like, I think the parity is also not really showing itself the way we thought it would, because of the fact that, like, because there's so much parity, like, you don't want to put certain teams on your roster. Right. I think we need to just need a governing body that takes care of everything. And your schedule is your schedule. And you can't like keep, because like I just saw that Charlotte's coach was talking about how this Georgia game was scheduled in 2019, 6 years ago. And it's like, obviously you're having a bad year, not good. Obviously it's money. I don't think he said, I don't think he even got paid for this game. I think.
Oh, jeez.
So it was like,
why are you scheduling that then?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it was just different. Like, I guess, you just wanted the opportunity or whatever.
Right.
19. It was just like, but now it's like, we're seeing teams that don't want to schedule teams.
Right.
And it's like you don't want to add, you want to, especially because the committee is how they're looking at these games. So it's like it's such a game of chicken towards like, no, we just need someone to give these guys their schedules, keep their rivalries intact, switch up a couple of things just to get some new matches we've never seen before, and then go from there. And like we really need a president of college football that's actually
like a commissioner. Yeah.
Like we need somebody to really Nick Saban, just take the job, brother. I know you want it.
Right. He's already politicking for it. He's been politicking for it for years. Like, dude, just I think it's because the NCAA is in the way, but just take it because it's like, yeah, we need somebody because it's like we talked about earlier. The schedule the next month, like to be a college coach for the next month is rough. Like the schedule's just all over the place.
Yeah, that's the first thing that needs to change. You need rules for NIL. You need rules, and then you need a schedule for the offseason. Like if you just get one, like it needs to just be one signing day again. Like everything just needs to start in January. In January. And you can also just, if you want to have a second commitment day, make it in the summer, right?
Yeah.
Give you a portal timeline, right? So like everyone declared their portal by January 1st. We see the portal. Right. The portal officially opens up to be able to work, like have a no contact, no talk rule until February.
Yeah.
Right.
Like how it used to be. Yeah. National Signing Day was like February 2nd or something like that. Yeah. That was usually always like a great day. And now it's like that day doesn't even matter.
It doesn't. And so like really you should just have your son, because like obviously you want your early commits to come in January or whatever. So it's like, I mean, I guess you should do your portal early, like so that way you should do your portal early and then your college stuff by like May or April or like March.
Right.
Like give them an extra month because they're not going to be coming right in January anyway. But you need to have those. In theory, you need those portal kids in early because then you can enroll in the summer so they can get in for spring ball.
Right.
So, and obviously with spring ball, that's becoming a whole new thing when people not want to have a spring game because they're just going to get picked from the portal. So like, it's so much that just needs to be reorganized, cleaned up, and uniform for everyone to follow.
Right.
And then, because we're going to our NFL formula anyway.
Oh, so yeah, big time.
Just need to, get this going. So,
agreed. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, like we talked about, yesterday was like not a great day. Like other than the Oregon USC game, like Pitt upsetting Georgia Tech, that was kind of a big game. I mean, other than that, Wisconsin upsetted Illinois.
So who do you think goes to the ACC championship game now?
Well, right now, so in the driver's seat right now, I believe it's
still Virginia.
It's Virginia and I think Pitt. Yeah, Virginia and Pitt. But Pitt hosts Miami next week, so they could lose that game. The team I think the team that might be the best team in the ACC, they're just right outside. They're in third right now, is SMU. I think if they get there, they win it. I think they're the best team right now. They're playing the best ball right now. But they'd be like a 9-3, 10-3 team. They probably get like the 11 seed and have to go to like Oregon or Georgia. So I don't think they'd make a lot of noise. But right now, I think Pitt probably loses to Miami. So I'm probably gonna go like SMU versus Virginia, and then I'd probably take SMU in that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really want to see,
but zero confidence because it's the ACC. Like anything can happen.
I really want to see Virginia win the ACC just because I really like Tony Elliott. I think Tony Elliott was really a piece that really made Clemson who they were. And I don't think people talk about that enough. Like, I don't think Tony Elliott gets enough credit for what he did for that offense, for Dabo. And I think now you're starting to see him building at Virginia. And he always has some really good quarterback prospects, and he's been developing. And that's kind of what happened with, in Clemson, they have some really good quarterback prospects, like really elite quarterback prospects, right? And so now I wouldn't say that Virginia has elite quarterback prospects, but they have some pretty solid kids. And
they have some good players, yeah.
Figure out how to get to win. Obviously, I think he had a couple years ago we had a couple kids pass away in season. That was really tough for him, and that kind of really deflated.
Oh, yeah, when they had that like shooting or something like that, right? Yeah.
So like that was a lost season once that happened, to be honest. And then from
Oh,
there,
yeah.
he slowly just keep building, and like they were always a tough team. They were tough out. They were exciting to watch on offense. And so now I think we're seeing Virginia put it together, and I win over Duke. They did lose against Wake Forest, which they didn't even put up 9 points. I mean, that was a bit of a slip up for sure.
Wake's actually a pretty decent team.
They
With
are
Dickard
decent.
as their head coach, yeah.
I mean, Wake was always a team that will be both. I mean, they're 6-3, so like they were always a team that would be like a 9-3, 10-3 team with like a bowl win, and obviously it might, they might beat Clemson a year or whatever. So I mean, they play Duke this week for rivalry week, which would be a big win, which gives them. That would give. How many wins do they have now? Let's see. Of course, this is why it's not loading.
I think they're at 9-2 right now. Jeez. Drake May just threw a pick 6. Awesome.
Damn. I started Butte today, so I was hoping he'd come back and pick up where he left off, but
yeah, they're coming out slow. Yeah.
8-3. So again, like they're on track. If they beat Duke, get that 9th win, and then their bowl game will be their 10th win if they were to win that as well. Like that's kind of like what Wake Forest does. And so they're a bubble team that could be like right there on the edge for really good in ACC. But I mean, obviously all their losses are conference losses, which is unfortunate for them. So I mean, if they didn't have those 3, maybe they only had like 1. I mean, they'd be right in the mix. I don't think they're a dangerous enough team to be that good, but they're always really well coached. And I think that's like something that you want. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, they got more wins than Clemson. So
yeah.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy.
And Clemson has a chance. I mean, they're bowl eligible now. I really wishing they weren't, but I mean, they have a chance. I mean, they play South Carolina next week, so which is also the big state championship game here, the Palmetto Bowl. I mean, they got a chance to go 6-6 at 500, and then if they lose, and then if they get a bowl game, they could be under 500 for the first time.
Oh, Clemson, yeah, it's gotten really bad.
Really bad. So we'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, that's all I really had. There wasn't a lot of big games yesterday. There wasn't a lot of like big results. Next week will be a big week, rivalry week. It's the last week of the regular season, so yeah, that'll be a lot. And then basically like probably half the field will be like set after next week because not everybody's playing in conference championship week. So next week's huge. A lot of Black Friday games, so there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, it'll be a good week in college football. We'll be back not on Sunday next week. We'll be back once we unveil the college football ranking and playoffs.
Yeah.
That should be the final set one, right? Next week.
No, the final set will be after the following week after championship games. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, it'll be basically set. It's almost just like seeding at that point, and then there might be like, okay, who's gonna win? Who's gonna get in from the ACC? Who's gonna get in from like the group of 5 and shit? Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Cody, for hanging out.
Yeah, always, man.
We really made our Saturday sacred yesterday because some people might have taken Saturday off because it was not any good football to watch. But hey, we enjoyed it. We enjoyed the speculation. Is Lane Kiffin ruining college football? I think my answer is no, not Lane Kiffin specifically, but he's definitely the poster head of that as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, actually, I forgot that I had a question for you. I written up and I completely forgot about it.
No.
Is
that the question?
Paid more than Kirby Smart, because that's what's trying to happen right now, and that was a big discourse I've seen. And if that does happen, Kirby Smart will promptly get a pay raise.
Yeah, no, he should not be paid more than him. It probably will happen just because of all the speculation, but yeah, that'll just get a lot of other coaches raises because they'll go back to their AD and their agents. What is the big agent down there?
No idea.
The Sexton, Jimmy Sexton or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I heard that.
Yeah. So they'll probably go back to those guys. Yeah. So it'll get some guys some raises if Kiffin gets that big of a raise. I don't know if he can get 25 annually out of Georgia, but yeah, you could try.
Is Kirby Smart the best coach in college football right now?
Yeah, I would say yeah. It's probably him, and then probably Ryan Day after that, and then it's tough. Like, I don't know who's right now. There's a lot of good coaches. There's not a lot of great coaches though. Like I would say those like Kirby Smart, obviously 2 national titles, SEC championships, playoff appearances. Like he's obviously a great coach. Ryan Day, like last year he got his title, but I mean they wanted to fire him after the Michigan game last year. So it's like
we'll see what happens this year.
We'll see. If they lose next week, like the freaking they'll be out there again saying like he can't. So we'll see. But yeah, after that, I mean there's a lot of good. Like there's a good coaches, and Dan Lanning's up there.
How close is Lane Kiffin to being a great coach?
I think he's that next tier. So you got your Kirby Smarts and your Ryan Days, and then your next tier is like Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, maybe Kalen DeBoer, guys like that are kind of just like lurking. I like Josh Heupel at Tennessee is pretty good.
You put Sark in that, or do you put him? I wouldn't put Heupel in the second tier. I put Heupel maybe in the third.
He's probably third tier. Sark, I don't know. Like, he's definitely the best coach Texas has had since like the Vince Young days with Mac Brown. But I mean, it's also just
guy.
not a Charlie. And who was the guy after that? It was the guy from Houston. I'm blanking on his
name. Tom Herman.
Tom Herman. There we go.
Yeah.
So those 2 guys, I mean, they obviously didn't make a cup of like. If you can get it going, like just a little bit of Texas, it's not a hard because you can recruit the hell out of Texas. You got a ton of money. You got the brand. So it's really not that hard to like get it going and then keep it going. So Sark's probably tier 3. Like tier 2, I would have like Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning.
Kurt Cignetti.
Yeah, I would have him in tier 2 right now. Kurt Cignetti.
Would you put James Franklin in tier 2 or tier 3?
He was probably tier 2, tier 3 at Penn State. Now it's like at Virginia Tech, I got to see. Because that's different levels. Like you were at a prime job. Now you're at a job that might be good, but we'll see. So yeah, I think there's a lot of tier 3 guys, a lot of good, and there's only a handful of great.
What about Cristobal?
I think he's a great recruiter, average coach. Man.
Noted.
Like
we'll break down this more for sure. We'll definitely break down more and have a host.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Put every coach in tiers, and we'll get. I think that'd be a fun topic.
That'd be fun, like a coaching tier. It'd probably be tough, but it'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Cody. Again, thank you guys for watching.
No problem, man.
Saturdays are sacred, and we're about to enjoy our Sundays, but we hope you enjoyed this show, this stream, and keep it here next time for Saturdays are sacred. Have a good one, guys.
We'll see you, man.
Snap back, quarterback rolling right. He's looking end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Saturdays are sacred, a football podcast.